Hey guys, Marsing here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so Global is finally going to get the Extreme Z battle for TEQ, LR, Goku Black and ZAMASU. I've definitely been looking forward to this one. I'm sure anybody else who pulled the in LR ZAMASU has been as well. That rotation is going to be super fun to use. But even if you don't have the ZAMASU, like, this unit is very, very good. This is one of the few LRs that have come around during this year that genuinely had people surprised at just how good it was. Because some of the EZAs that we've seen this year have been a bit hit or miss, but most people generally very happy with the Goku Black and ZAMASU. So it is a typical LR EZA, so there are only 10 stages. You get 3 stones per stage, so you still get 30 in total. Obviously you get all the medals you need to EZA them. You get the 5 type Kais, so you can put them straight up to SA 25. And then obviously there are some missions as well, so you get 33 stones in total. Now when it comes to LR EZAs, there is no type like the disadvantage. Obviously there's the normal type disadvantage for AGL units, but it doesn't suffer from the same thing as normal 30 stage EZAs, where once you get to a certain point, units of a certain typing just don't do any damage. So that isn't the case for the LR ones. However, I still probably wouldn't recommend bringing too many AGL units. Good defensive AGL units will be fine. We'll mention at least one specifically. But you're probably gonna, as always with these kind of things, be leaning mostly towards a team largely comprised of type advantage. So as with all LR EZAs, legendary power, the link, is what is going to enable you to do big damage. You can see a very noticeable difference between attacks, regardless of the attack stat, how much damage they'll actually do in these events when you have legendary power active compared to when you don't. And then the actual specialized category, which determines damage taken, is Battle of Fate. So once you get nearer to the end, non-Battle of Fate characters will take a lot of damage. This is very noticeable in LR EZAs. Like, for example, on my JP, which is free to play, I was trying to do Int Bojack's EZA, and I barely have any characters from the right category. So I tried loading up my team with like the 7-year LRs, Vegeta and Trunks and stuff like that. And because they're not on the right category, in stage 7 they're getting hit for like 200k normals. So, you know, you gotta focus around Battle of Fate. So that is obviously what we're going to be talking about in the video. As always with my team building guys, we'll be going over my top picks and honourable mentions for the team. And then once we get to the end, if there are any units that you think I missed out or should have talked more about, feel free to let me know down below in the comments section. And obviously if you do find the guide helpful at all, do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So jumping straight in, obviously the big lead that they want you to go with is Vegeta and Trunks. Pretty standard fare for Dokkan, wanting you to use one of the newest summonable units as the leader. Obviously, whilst Battle of Fate isn't the main part of the leader skill, it is the extra 30%. So Bond of Parent and Child or Future Saga. Obviously this unit is going to be incredibly good for this EZA. Very solid slot 1 unit. You can just build the team around them, keep them in slot 1 on the defensive, and then you're going to be looking good. So if you have this unit, there's essentially no reason not to be running them as the lead. And they are going to be one of the best units on the team for this event. Now, in terms of other leaders, I think this LR God Goku, even though he doesn't have his EZA yet, so he's obviously not like the best unit, he could be very, very useful as a stand-in leader because his leader skill is Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans. Now, obviously that means you technically can't use a friend Vegeta and Trunks because unlike Legends, characters that are a mix of the two don't get both tags, they just get neither of them. So that is a little bit of a downside, I guess, because Vegeta and Trunks are probably the best friend to bring for most of the team builds. But this guy is going to give you quite a lot of leeway in terms of your team building, because you can use any Pure Saiyans or Hybrid Saiyans, which basically covers most of the super type units in the entire game. It has built-in dodge, but other than that, in sort of this current meta, I know EZAs aren't particularly hard, but God Goku's not really going to be doing tons of damage or tanking very well if he doesn't dodge. But I do think he would be a good placement on the team, either as a stand-in lead or if you just want one extra in LR, because remember, you do want to prioritize legendary power, so, you know, he could easily fill the last slot on the team if you have all the units in the game. I still think he would be worth bringing on the team as another int LR that is on Battle of Fate. So, obviously we have the two Battle of Fate Dokkan Fest exclusive leads, the Goku and the Kid Buu. I think Kid Buu's probably the weaker choice just because he doesn't fit in super well with the rest of the team. And then, of course, Goku, there are a lot of Saiyans, so there's going to be a lot of common links. Even though he doesn't have legendary power, because obviously he's not an LR, he is going to be able to build up fairly quickly and get off those multiple attacks with crits. If you do drop below the 77% HP from the third turn, which is pretty easy for easy A's because you can't heal, they start to hit quite hard towards the later stages. You can then transform into Super Saiyan 3 and then start getting off, you know, even more super attacks with crit. And he can do reasonable damage. It is very possible, even though I mentioned at the beginning about legendary power, there's been LR EZAs in the past that I have fully completed with a full team of TURs. So you don't need to have legendary power, it just makes all the fights take longer, because legendary power obviously enables you to do a bunch of extra damage. But Goku definitely could be a good pick for the team. Kid Buu not so much, especially because most of the units we're going to talk about are super types, so he's not going to share a lot of links with a lot of characters. But obviously if you're really lacking on options for lead, he is an actual Battle of Fate category leader. So next up, not in terms of leader skill, but we have this unit. Worldwide Chaos or Patara. I don't know if you can even make a full Battle of Fate team. There's definitely a few good int LRs though, so if you really are lacking Battle of Fate characters, you could try out a team build like that, I guess. But ZAMASU is mainly just going to be good on the actual teams. He does get the 200% leader skill from LR, Vegeta and Trunks, so he is a pretty solid option. Does a lot of damage, gets the guaranteed extra super if he's doing his 18 key, raises defense greatly on both of those supers. So all in all, he's just going to be a very powerful unit in the event. Type advantage in the right categories, like he'll just be dishing out a ton of damage. If you pulled Vegeta and Trunks and you pulled this guy, you will have a very easy time with this EZA essentially. So he's definitely going to be very, very good. Next up we have Namek Goku. So Namek Goku is another unit. He's seen a little bit of a comeback. He works quite nicely with Vegeta and Trunks. They share quite a few links. He's obviously on their team for the 200%. He's another int LR. So all in all, he's just going to be a very solid unit on the team. Especially if you have Vegeta and Trunks slot 1, you have this guy slot 2. He gets the chance to do an additional from his passive, and then obviously the hidden potential as well, so you can get quite a lot of build up quite quickly. And then of course you can always use his active skill as a finisher. When the enemy has 30% or less HP, you can use his active skill. Can be pretty good to finish off a fight if there's a ton of attacks in slot 1 without having to take the risk of taking hits. So Namek Goku, again, definitely a solid pick. If you are running Vegeta and Trunks and you have this guy, I think he's definitely an include on the team. Very, very good in this event for sure. Next up we have Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Now, I only remembered this unit was on Battle of Fate because I did the video with him versus Cell Max yesterday. So he is on Vegeta and Trunks' 200% leader skill as well. So he can be pretty solid for this event. Obviously, he's fallen out of favour. He's not really very meta relevant at the moment. But in terms of an EZA against a TEQ enemy, where you want characters that are on the right category, then obviously he's going to be very good, right? Legendary power. If you're picking up enough orbs, like he's going to do crazy amounts of damage. So again, just like God Goku, I feel like he's a good unit to just include on the team, specifically just because he is an int LR that is in the right category. So very good way to build up the team. He has decent links, whilst Gohan's links are not the best, has links like Gaze of Respect. Can work out pretty well on the team. He does have shocking speed, which is useful for another unit that we will get to very soon. But yeah, this Gohan definitely worthwhile on the team. So next up we have LR Vegito Blue, the STR. I can't remember if he had his EZA when this event came out on JP, but Obviously, he's going to be very good now with his EZA. Again, he is in the right categories. He's on the 200% team. Actually, wait, no, he's not on... Yeah, no, he is, because of course he is, because, yeah, Future Saga makes up for him not being on Bond of Parent and Child. So, yeah, he gets the 200% lead from Vegeta and Trunks as well. Very, very good free-to-play option. Like, after his EZA, he definitely is a solid unit. I would imagine for free-to-play players who don't have as much of a wide pool of units to pick from, this guy probably is going to be a top choice for your team. He can also be a good free-to-play option as the lead as well. Superclass 4 key and then 120 to stats. So if you are a newer or free-to-play player and you're missing out on some of these other big units that can be used as the leader, then Vegito Blue is definitely going to be a good stand-in lead as a free-to-play option. So, and even for non-free-to-play, like I would probably put him on my team with the Vegeta and Trunks build. I think he'll be pretty good for this. Going for his 18 key and then getting the potential to do additionals, he can definitely put out a lot of damage, especially early on. He's going to be very, very powerful. So, very good. Good inclusion, good free-to-play option. Next up, we have the Kaioken Goku. So, obviously, people have been talking about him a bit lately thanks to the burst mode glitch. But he is a very powerful unit. He's on the right categories, even though he's not in. Like, he's just an absolute damage machine. Even at, like, low dupes. Mine has 1 dupe. And with a good link set and everything, like, a good few links active, a little bit of support, he hits ridiculous numbers. He does sacrifice a little bit of HP on the 18 key super, but it's not really the end of the world. Honestly, if you get good rotations for him in the early stages, like 1 to 3, maybe even up to like 4 or 5, he could probably almost one-shot, like if you get his 18 key super. Then if he does kick in with an additional, because he's one of the few LRs that does Mega Colossal on both his super attacks. So definitely going to be a very, very strong option for the team. Then next up we have the LR Super Saiyan 4s. So this is the unit I was talking about with Shocking Speed. They are a very solid unit. They guard in the first turn. Obviously, if you get enough key, they get guaranteed additional. If you get 24 key, they get effective against all types. So these guys can put out a ton of damage. And that's the one benefit they have over the gods, is that they are on Battle of Fate. So obviously, they're on the 200% team for Vegeta and Trunks. And very, very good unit for this event, for sure. If you do happen to get to turn 4, which in EZAs doesn't happen all that often, but especially stage 10 of LR EZAs are obviously a bit tougher, then obviously you could fuse into Gogeta. And by that point, chances are, at turn 4, the enemy is definitely going to be below 50% HP, so then you can use his active skill straight away. And chances are, if you got to turn 4, the active skill probably just finishes him off. And if not, then, you know, you're going to easily finish him off that turn. So, definitely a solid pick for the team. Another very good LR. Next up, we have the Blue Boys. So, we've got a couple of TURs to talk about now. Like I said, you can get by with a full team of TURs. So, don't feel too disheartened if you can't make, like, a full LR team. I know not a lot of people summoned for these guys, but being that they're in and on Battle of Fate, they are pretty good. Goku is pretty solid for the first couple of turns. Can build up quite nicely, especially if you get those additionals from his hidden potential. He can definitely be very solid. And they have decent links. They have some weird links, like they have like the Super God Combat and Resurrection of F. But they have Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Super Saiyan. Like they're going to fit in perfectly well with a lot of the units that we've talked about already. Then we have the Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. The Tech one is on the category as well, but obviously the Int one has type advantage. If you are bringing the LR Super Saiyan 4s, then obviously they go together quite nicely. He has the chance to counter super attacks, which is always nice. So this guy definitely can be a solid addition for the team as well. Then we have the UI Goku. Another solid Int unit. Obviously his kit very basic pre-transformation. But if you do happen to drop below 50% HP, then obviously he transforms. On the turn he transforms, you have a 100% chance to dodge. So he can be pretty useful, especially if you're finding some of the later stages a bit difficult. Then throwing this guy on the team is going to give you that one turn where you can put him in front of all the attacks and he just doesn't get hit. So he definitely can be very, very useful. Then we have one of the only extreme units that, other than ZAMASU, in the video, which is Golden Frieza. Now obviously you could bring the Tech one or the Int one as well. The Int one is one that wants to build up over long events, so even though he has type advantage, the Tech or the AGL one would be better. Obviously Global doesn't have the LR version of Golden Frieza yet, But Golden Frieza is just a good unit that you can bring if you really are struggling for like the last pick, like you've picked out 5 units and you really don't know who to bring as the last option. You can just bring Golden Frieza. He's not going to do a lot of damage, he never does, but you can just put him in front of all the attacks and he's not going to take any damage. So he's a worthwhile addition to the team if you just need another blocker, especially if you are struggling towards the end, right? This guy's going to be able to soak up damage very nicely. Then we have TEQ Vegito Blue, who got his EZA recently. Now remember, in EZAs you can't use same name units, so you can't use this guy and the STR LR. And I figure most people, you're probably going to want to run the STR LR instead. But if you are a newer player, you haven't done his grind, or you haven't grinded up all the stuff to EZA him yet, then obviously TEQ Vegito Blue can still be a pretty good stand-in. He can be very good as long as you get the good RNG and he's getting off his additional super attacks. And then last but not least, we have the LR version of Vegito, who transforms into Vegito Blue. The 5-year LRs definitely fell out of favour quite quickly. Not many people talk about them much anymore, apart from, you know, speculating about how good their future EZAs could be. But he could be another solid addition to the team if you just want that one final pick and you really want to run a team full of LRs. If you're running him in the 3rd slot, he has a built-in 50% chance to dodge, and he can still do reasonable damage, right? So he can be decent enough. Because he transforms on turn 4, as we already discussed earlier in the video, you're not likely to see turn 4 that often. But if you do get to turn 4, then obviously he transforms into Blue Vegito, gets the guaranteed additional attacks and stuff, so you're probably going to be finishing off the fight on turn 4. So Vegito Blue, I think he deserves an honourable mention, the TEQ LR, but probably not on the highest on the list in terms of picks. So those are my top picks and honourable mentions. Just having a quick back look at the list. I mean, units like Jiren, Super 17, Great 8 Vegeta, like, they'd be usable in this event. They're just not going to work super well with a lot of the other units that we talked about. Cell can be good for the free heal, the in LR Cell. Full Power Frieza with his EZA is not terrible. But again, a lot of these extreme units just don't fit in well with the team. I guess if you're running like one of the Golden Friezas, you could run this guy as their slot 2 unit. Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta actually probably is worth a mention as well. I didn't mention Goku mainly just because he's AGL, but Vegeta obviously could be pretty good. He's going to share a lot of links with the LR Super Saiyan 4s, so if you're running them, then running Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta can be pretty useful. And then when we look at the TURs, I didn't go over a ton of these because you do want to focus on the LRs where possible, but we went over some of the decent int ones. Obviously TEQ Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is a good option if you don't have the int one. None of the other units really hugely jump out to me. I mean, this Trunks, he's not, you know, aged super well, but he does change orbs. He could be very useful. Units like Namek Goku with his EZA can be decent, especially if you get him to transform nice and early. I guess you could bring STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku to link up with like the LRs, like some of the other Super Saiyan 4s that want to get like Saiyan Raw, Fierce Battle. Could be pretty decent. But there you go. So let me know down below, like I said, if there's any units you think I should have talked more about or that I missed out completely, mention them in the comment section and let me know what your team build is going to look like for the TEQ Goku Black and ZAMASU EZA. I will be live to do the EZA, so hopefully I will see you guys there. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been DAMASU. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.